Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, folks. We are doing episode 6 of the Versus streams, which is the Big Sith Showdown. And we are going to be doing Darth Vitiate versus Darth Sidious. And so far we got 3 other panelists. So ladies first. We got Mara Jade from Jade Shadow, and a big congratulations to her, by the way, folks. So put congratulations. She just got monetized today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I just got the approval. Yesterday I've made a whole 1 cent so far. One of my videos or something. But yeah, I'm going to be as part of my weekly live stream I do with Lethal Lightning tomorrow. I will be that'll be like my official first monetization stream. So come join at 10 p.m. Eastern. So until then, you can check out my other videos. I do pop culture, social commentary, things like that. Some Star Wars, but I haven't gotten into at all the Disney stuff. So I only talk about EU. Or the original trilogy or the prequels. So that's it. Hold on, folks. I think we have some technical difficulties. Hello. You get to hear my beautiful voice until Orange Hat comes back. So we got Soul Assassin in the chat. Brian the Observer. Who is Darth Vitiate? He was the Sith Emperor during the Old Republic time period. And back.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Been having internet problems, and that's why I have this banner. So yeah, all right. The next up is my co-host. He's been on for a few other streams. Is the Ambassador.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in tonight. I am happy to be back with my good friend Orange Hat Reviews and with Mara Jade, the Jade Shadow, and congratulations to you, my dear, for getting monetized. Well done, and well done.
Thank you.
And this is going to be a fun debate. Let's just be perfectly honest here, because no matter who wins, we all lose. we're all pretty much screwed. No matter who wins, we lose. So
pretty much.
Anyway.
Alrighty. And our next panelist is another one. You guys remember him from last week. It's Ryan Kinnell from RK Outpost.
Hey, it's me. Was it last week? It seems like forever ago that I was on here.
Not last week. It was 2 weeks ago. That's right.
Okay. I was going to say, where the hell is the time? Like, I felt like it was more time than that, but you never know. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm not really looking forward to this. I've been thinking about it all day, and I cannot figure out exactly who I want to choose. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think we're all about to be convinced one way or the other throughout this stream, because it's too. It's like comparing quarterbacks in different eras. It's 2 all-time greats going up against each other.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one, folks. So just heads up, it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Yes,
and hopefully my internet will stay on while we're going.
Yeah, that's the other part that I thought was going to be a little bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me and Mara, we both have bad internet.
Pretty much.
Alrighty, let's see if I can pull up my stream on my phone and turn my volume down so it doesn't intercede.
You can do it. You can do it.
Alrighty here.
Yeah, need to know the sort of the parameters for this duel, because it's This is going to be one of the toughest ones. Normally, like the past ones I've been on, I've been able to come in with like already one side supporting. But I'm looking at both of them going, I don't know which one. They're both pretty powerful in their own right.
They really are, and I guess we'll wait for Orange Chat to kind of set up the scene and how exactly this is all going to take place. But it really is going to depend a lot of the parameters of this battle too. You've got a guy in Vitiate who, if you guys aren't aware of his history, he lived for nearly 1,500 years. He found a way to extend his life, not only extend his life, but also to inhabit other bodies, essence transfer, in the same way that Palpatine was eventually able to do that as well. So I suppose if you kill these guys, the question will be, do they stay dead too? You got to think about that.
Yeah, if he can extend his life, transfer his essence. He just going in briefly into his history, when he was like 10 years old or something, he killed his biological father. And
this was a vicious little turkey.
Yeah, he was.
Vitiate did not screw around. I mean, you want to talk about Palpatine being mildly deranged or whatever and everything. This guy killed his family. I mean, yeah, Palpatine, he hated his father with a fiery passion that could burn 1,000,000 planets. But Vitiate, at 9 or 10 years old, killed his dad. That's cold.
Well, both his father and his biological father before he was 10 years old.
Yeah, so figure that one out.
Well, Palpatine also did kill his family as well.
Yeah.
I think he was a little older though. He was already kind of under the sway of Plagueis at the time. Yeah, he did kill his family too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both patricidal.
Patricidal and homicidal.
Yeah, and also Vitiate tortured his mother before he ended up killing her. So he killed his adopted father because his adopted father was abusing his mother. Then instead of, because he's a vicious little turd, the turkey, as ambassador said, he tortures his mother for betraying the family for weeks. And this kid is 10 years old. I'm like, that is evil as hell.
Well, and you got
another 6 or 7 when he killed his adopted family. He's pretty young.
Yeah, he was single digits.
Yeah,
he was born. Let's just be candid here. He was born bad.
Oh, indeed. And he was also a pureblood Sith. He was born a pureblood Sith. But as most people know him, he was mostly in a human body. But he was actually born a pure-blooded Sith species. And one of the things that many people, unless you play the game Old Republic, he laid waste to a planet and literally everybody knows from KOTOR 2, Mitra Surik, the Exile, and how she used the mass shadow generator to basically create a huge rift in the Force, an echo in the Force.
Yep.
A wound, as they say. Well, Vitiate, he didn't need a machine to do that. He did it to a whole planet through a ritual.
I think technically 2 planets, but the second one was later on.
Oh, yeah.
What he did was he tricked Sith to come to the planet, and under the guise of was it bestowing power on them or something, sharing something with them. But he drained literally the life from not just the inhabitants, but the planet itself. And even the Force
Indeed.
Even the Force itself, because in the Revan novel, he goes to that planet, and like I say, I can't feel anything.
Yeah, it's basically like kind of going in a Yosemite bubble. It's kind of like that's kind of what it felt like when he described it. you know, how Luke feels when he gets the Force removed by the Asalamiri.
Mhm.
And I suppose what's his name felt the same thing. Scourge, when Scourge goes to find Revan there, kind of following him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And let's just face it, folks. Palpatine can Force possess some, or can do essence transfer and whatnot, and try to possess people.
Mhm.
The downfall to essence transfer is if the will of the person you are trying to possess is stronger than you, you are cast into the Force's version of oblivion,
Mhm.
meaning that's worse than hell.
Yep, pretty much.
Where Vitiate, he can take over the minds and Force possess thousands of people, a planet's population. And he did that to Ziost before laying waste to it.
Yep.
And he did it on a whim.
Well,
So just to give you a little bit of a preview of his power, basically.
Well, and you have an interesting dynamic between, you know, Palpatine is obviously an expert at hiding his Force presence, right? Being so incredibly powerful and being able to slip right under the nose of even the most powerful Jedi Masters. And then you have Vitiate, who is a master at, he doesn't care. He doesn't care who knows how powerful he is. He will just dominate your mind.
Mhm.
He just dominated the mind to turn them to his will, to the point that you had Revan all the way across the galaxy doing his bidding for him. You know, light years and light years away.
Mhm.
So it very powerful.
Well, and the thing you've got to remember about Vitiate and about Palpatine, their modus operandi are completely dissimilar.
Mhm.
Vitiate rules through sheer absolute power. Now, and here's the other thing. And Orange, you brought this up just a few minutes ago. Vitiate is a pure blood Sith, which means he is a descendant from the original Sith people on the their home world of Korriban, which means that he has lineage possibly all the way back to the original Force wielders exiles from the first Jedi Schism, or the Great Jedi Schism. Now, consider whoever his master was, if he had one. I don't know if he did or not. Y'all can fill me in on that part. This was okay. This was a Force sensitive who was very powerful in the Force. His link to it, I would say, was probably rivaled it might have even rivaled Anakin's if Anakin had never been injured. And his most definitely rivals on different aspects Palpatine's link to the Force, and in particular the dark side. Being a pure blood Sith is a very strong advantage for Vitiate because he has that lineage. He knows the Sith sorcery firsthand. He knows how to do all the Sith rituals that have been passed down throughout the entire history of when the Sith people first were finally encountered the exiled Force wielders that ultimately became what we know as modern day Sith. So just on that one particular thing, Vitiate has a very strong advantage over Palpatine. Palpatine was learning all his Sith sorcery secondhand, and he wasn't particularly he was good at it, but he didn't really spend a whole lot of time on it because he felt like technology was a better fill-in rather than sorcery. Whereas you can make the argument that Sith sorcery was actually in a lot of ways far superior than to any technological piece of machinery that the Empire or the Republic could churn out. Remember what Anakin or what Vader said in the first Star Wars. Do not be too proud of this technological terror you have constructed. It pales in comparison to the power of the Force. The Force is limitless. A machine can be destroyed. The Force can't. It can be wounded, but eventually that wound can be healed.
Very true. And sorry, but my autism and an impulse is kicking in here. You misquoted Vader. So
I know.
The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Yes, I know.
But that takes precedence, or that actually is relevant to this conversation. Both Palpatine and, Vitiate has destroyed 2 planets by himself.
Mhm.
Palpatine, he has the potential, but we never see him use the Force to do it.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of power. I mean, he created a Force storm in space, which didn't it conjure a wormhole?
Yeah, and it destroyed a couple of ships, and that's a pretty impressive feat.
It destroyed an entire fleet, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, not to mention it destroyed his own personal Star Destroyer, the Eclipse, the massive Eclipse class Star Destroyer. So that's a pretty impressive feat. But let's see.
In theory, you're able to actually destroy planets that way. Because it's basically if you created a wormhole, say down near the surface of a planet, it would suck half the planet in.
Well, and you do see Mara Orange, right? I'm sure you all probably read the Dark Empire comic series that Dark Horse did way back in the day, and you do see a brief. You do see a brief panel where that Force storm is actually gone down to the surface of Coruscant, where Luke has told everybody else to depart, and it's just him and R2. And you see that Force storm starting to destroy the surface of Coruscant. So we don't know the ultimate fate of Coruscant in that particular event, but you could draw a supposition that Palpatine theoretically had the ability to destroy an entire planet. We just never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he does have the potential. And the thing is, both of these Sith, Legends Palpatine and Vitiate, who is also sadly Legends, we don't know the full scope of their power because unfortunately, Disney, everybody put Duck Disney or fuck Disney in the chat, by the way. they kind of killed Legends before we were getting into the real nitty-gritty.
Yeah, well, I mean, they really did. I mean, I know they're cherry picking now, but in this instance, whatever they're cherry picking is not the actual Legend. So the EU is effectively to Disney dead.
Yeah, it's defunct, which is
pretty
sad.
much. I mean, I heard that they're actually bringing in frickin' Wedge's wife, but they're going to name her Nora for whatever reason. But Aella Antilles was a very good character, and I'd hate to see her frickin' misused. But
anyone that they bring in that even they say is from Legends, it's not from Legends. No. You can't bring in a character like Mara Jade into this canon. She doesn't work in this canon. It might be a character named Mara. She might have red hair, but it's not Mara Jade. Same thing goes for Aella Assyria if they bring her in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple of characters that might be able to make it, but that's a discussion for another time. We're back to the Sith now. A lot of people don't realize is that one Sith after Tenebrae, which was Vitiate's birth name, Tenebrae, a Sith found him after he laid waste to Nathema, but the planet was called a different name back then. And that was Marker Ragnos. He was the actual teacher of Vitiate or Tenebrae at the time, and then he took the name Vitiate.
Yeah.
Well, he was brought there. He was some other Sith found him and then brought him to Ziost or I suppose wherever. I don't remember where Marker Ragnos was at the time. I think that's how it happened, right? Someone found him, took him to Marker Ragnos. Marker Ragnos, who was the Lord of the Sith at the time, basically recognized his power.
He was like, after he killed his biological father. So
and was like, I grant you the title Lord Vitiate, and you're a Sith, and you can rule the shit, basically.
Yeah. Well, it would be accurate if he was. This is beside the point, but it would have been accurate for him to have been brought to Ziost because Ziost was the while Korriban was like the funeral, the graveyard of the Sith. Ziost was at that time the throne of the Sith Empire.
Pretty much.
So that would be accurate.
Either that or whatchamacallit, the other planet. Oh, god damn it, I'm drawing a blank.
Warband.
No, not Moraband. Moraband is basically Korriban.
Yeah, essentially.
It's in the game, guys. What's the game, or what's that planet's name? It has it has two names, and it's on the Sith side of the game, Old Republic. It's basically the second planet you visit when you start.
I haven't played the game, so I couldn't tell you.
You're talking about Dromund Kaas?
Dromund Kaas. There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't played the game, but yeah, I know that location.
Yeah, I've heard of it too.
But that's
research.
basically, during Vitiate's time, that was basically the seat of power of the Sith.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Zayast had relevance, but it was basically kept off the radar for that very reason, because it was important to the Sith.
Mhm.
Now, one of the interesting things about we're going into a little history here, folks. One of the interesting things about Vitiate and Marka Ragnos had two other apprentices that were vying for power after he died.
Yep,
Which was
Ludo Crash and Naga Sadao.
And Naga Sadao.
Yep.
And you gotta see the genius behind Marka Ragnos here. He knew that Vitiate was going to be the big ruler, but he kept him behind the scenes. He kept him out of the way of Ludo Kresh and Sadao, because he knew that those two would start a war with each other. And by doing so, it would make the Sith basically to the Jedi fall to themselves, and give Vitiate enough time to build his power base. And this man, as cunning and as manipulative as Palpatine is, he has manipulated millions, if not billions, of people. He had sleepers inside the Jedi Order as high as Jedi Council members. They called them the Emperor's children. He could dominate and the minds of even the most powerful Jedi Masters, maybe not as powerful as Satil Shan, but pretty much almost anyone under her, he could dominate, unless they were a virgins in the Force. Because back then, virgins like Anakin were more common. If you play the game, there are so many side and companion characters that are actually considered virginses in the Force. Now, we could go on basically giving all the props to Valkorion, but let's discuss some of the positives and pros to Palpatine. Basically, Palpatine, as we all know from the Plagueis novel, he came up in a very high, rich family on Naboo.
Yes.
Absolutely hated that family, by the way.
Yep.
But as Ryan said, his greatest gift in the dark side was not just his affinity for it, but his ability to cloak himself in it. Meaning, you couldn't detect a Force signature in Palpatine, which is also in the novel of Episode 3, when Dooku was using the Force to interpret the Force signatures of Anakin and Obi-Wan and Palpatine. He saw Anakin as a storm, Kenobi as like a serene landscape, and saw absolutely nothing in Palpatine. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, it could be an advantage for him, because on top of his ability to cloak himself, or at least his connection to the Force, he has a very shrewd, calculating nature. So this is not someone who would go into any fight, even with Vitiate, blindly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking at the situation, and I'm looking at the personalities of these characters, whereas, Vitiate doesn't care who knows how powerful he is, whereas Palpatine, not that he doesn't care, it's just that he hides it to use it as an advantage.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how important it'll be in our specific matchup. Because I feel like, I suppose it depends how you set it up, but I feel like these are just two guys who are facing off.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how, unless in some way, shape, or form we get kind of a Mara Jason fight, where it goes into some caves and there's hiding and stuff like that involved, and maybe he could help cloak his presence, but I don't see it really happening quite that way. So I don't know if that's going to be an advantage really to Palpatine.
The way that to give you, if I may, for just 1 second, the way that I see this fight happening, and do not hate me after I say this, basically let's view it as Palpatine going after, or basically the equivalent of Episode 9's beginning, where Ben Solo was going after Palpatine. Basically, Palpatine senses a very dark presence and a threat to his power, and he's going to crush it. That is basically how I see this fight starting.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically just one-on-one in some kind of throne room kind of. And basically the way that Vitiate is initially, or is, basically the way you go after Vitiate in SWTOR.
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay. Just a big open room. Just a big open room with him sitting on a throne somewhere. Kind of like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
But it's definitely going to be a lot bigger than the throne room from that pyramid in Dromund Kaas.
Okay.
Well, so another thing that I noticed about Palpatine is for those who read the novels like Plagueis, everybody thinks that the comic or from the Disney comics, where Palpatine is Anakin's baby daddy, or the daddy of Anakin. Thank God the author of that comic actually came out and defunct that theory. Basically, a year later, it's like, man, you just pissed off basically everybody, gave some people a heart attack, but then a year later, you decide to do it, saying the dark side is not a valid narrative, or not a good narrative, or whatever. But yeah, the thing is, I prefer the Plagueis way, where he and Sidious performed a ritual to try to unbalance the Force and turn it to the dark side.
Yeah.
To bend the Force to their will, and the Force countered by creating Anakin.
Yep.
Now, that is also something that can go to the positives of Palpatine. He actually, with assistance from Plagueis, helped shift the Force to the dark side. He unbalanced the Force, basically.
Yeah. So, well, the thing I would say about Palpatine is, because the thing is, with both Vitiate and Palpatine, they are both expert strategists. Whereas you look at Vitiate, and Soul Assassin, he brings up a very good comment. Vitiate had thousands of years to build his power, while Sidious had 50 plus to gain his strength.
Yes.
That's actually true, but here's the thing. Vitiate came before the era of the rule of two, or Bane. he was pre-Bane. This guy had the ability, as you've mentioned, to dominate minds galactic wide.
Yep.
Palpatine didn't have that, as far as I know. He didn't have that capacity, as best as we know.
I mean, to be honest, there's a legit question as to if Palpatine were to go up to Vitiate, if he would just turn around and walk away as his errand boy. To be really honest,
no, and Ryan, that's honestly, that's a very valid point.
That's
because
legitimate.
Because here's the thing. Palpatine's vision in the Force wasn't absolute. He got things wrong. I doubt, contrary to what Disney may be trying to say, or the current administration of Lucasfilm wants to say. I don't know if Palpatine saw Anakin throwing him down that shaft there on the second Death Star. Vitiate,
No.
he probably wouldn't even give someone an opportunity to even do it. His Force vision was that good, as I have, because I've done research on this guy over the past week or week and a half, to try and understand him. Vitiate probably wouldn't even give somebody the opportunity to do so. Palpatine's vision in the Force, his foresight, while it's good, it's fallible. It's fallible.
Yeah.
Vitiate's vision, Force vision, his foresight was almost flawless, or you can make the argument absolutely flawless. So, while Palpatine is now, here's the thing: Vitiate wasn't a politician. He didn't come from a well-to-do family on Naboo. He came from, I'm trying to remember. Either one of you correct. He came from he came from a low-class or low-tier family within the Sith culture, and built himself up to be Emperor of the Eternal Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And quite literally, you could almost make the argument that Palpatine's empire was almost a continuation of his legacy, although it was technically a continuation of the rule of two and everything from Darth Bane.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Vitiate ruled the galaxy with an iron fist. You couldn't really get a leg up on him unless you were just extremely powerful in the Force and could hide your thoughts and hide your plans away from him. With Palpatine, a lot got past him because honestly, the bureaucracy of the Empire, while it was very good in terms of a political bureaucracy, it did have its flaws. Yeah. With Vitiate, his agents, his children, the children of the Emperor,
yep,
they were all tied into his brain. It was almost the Star Wars equivalent of a hive mind mentality. Now, I know that there are certain alien races within the Star Wars universe that do have that same hive mind mentality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to having a hive mind collective within the Force, that's a powerful, powerful tool at your disposal, and Vitiate exercised it exceedingly well. Palpatine relied on fear. He relied on the Imperial bureaucracy, and unfortunately, those two things don't always work.
I just noticed something as Ambassador was talking, and now I hate Disney even more because of it. The more we are discussing this, the more I am seeing shades of Vitiate in the Disneyfied version of Palpatine. Because I remember they exposed the truth of how the Jedi Temple was destroyed after Kylo turned. Basically, Palpatine, while he was in a weakened state, summoned a force storm on that planet to destroy the temple and to kill almost everybody there. Yeah, that's their explanation.
I didn't see the movie, and that is just so stupid.
Also, the thousands of Sith and all the people from Exegol, basically with absolute loyalty that cannot be changed, cannot be turned, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, they actually did go in and take, I don't know if it was willingly or wittingly or unwittingly.
I think, no, I want to say it's just about wittingly at this point, because they have nothing to fall back on, nothing to stand on with the current state of their characters. No one cares about the new characters that Disney introduced into the canon. So what are they going to do? They're going to cherry pick from the EU without actually bringing in an actual character. So they'll look at a personality of a character, they'll look at the characteristics of the character, and say, okay, like, we're going to incorporate these traits into here, and this is going to be our character, in quotes, pretty much.
Yeah. God damn it, I hate Disney now. Well, if I didn't hate him enough already.
Let's focus on the duel. Let's worry about Disney later.
Yeah. God damn it, it's hard to get. It's easy to get sidetracked on this.
Yeah.
But
now I think one thing. Now I think we might as well say it now. We've been talking a lot about Vitiate's strengths. I think that a weakness for Vitiate is going to be once this comes down to an actual lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
Palpatine is an expert duelist. Although it may not be his favorite thing to do, much like his master. He's an expert. We saw him take down, 3 Jedi Council members in seconds, and then fight with Mace. Exactly, and then fight with Mace for a couple minutes. Kind of let him get the better of him, so he could take that opportunity to turn Anakin. And then he beats Yoda. Granted, a little bit of a cheap way to beat Yoda, but he just had good positioning throughout the entire thing. But of all the people we've seen fight Palpatine, there's only been 2 people that have lasted longer than basically a minute, and only one person that's won, and that's Luke Skywalker against the Emperor Reborn.
Yeah, that is true. Well, and Ryan, you just brought up a very interesting point. Much like Obi-Wan, Palpatine had the high ground.
Yep.
Sorry. You left that door open. You left that door open. I felt like, I'll walk through it.
And while that is a good point, don't get me wrong, that is a good point.
That's why I was wondering about the parameters, because Vitiate gets to. Well, I mean, I don't recall any really instances of at all of him using a lightsaber. Not like that could be.
He doesn't. In fact, when he's Valkorian, he actually uses the Force to stop a lightsaber.
Yeah.
To the menace.
I know he has, as Valkorian, he had 2 sons and 1 daughter.
Yeah.
They lightsabers.
They were extremely skilled with lightsabers.
Yeah.
So he didn't technically have to be.
Even that, I have to wonder, even with his skill as a lightsaber, Palpatine would also have to use his what I said before, his shrewdness, his calculating. He'd have to get Vitiate or Valkorian or whatever state he's in a position where he can use the lightsaber to his advantage because of how powerful Vitiate is.
Yeah, and the thing with Palpatine, if you guys or everybody who reads the Episode 3 novel, to give you guys basically a mark of how quick Palpatine is, he is like a blur when he is fighting Mace Windu. When Anakin shows up in the novel at the Chancellor's office, when Mace Windu and Palpatine were basically cutting loose, he couldn't make them out with his naked eye. They were a blur. And that's how deep he was, basically it was Palpatine deeply submerged in the dark side and Mace Windu using that darkness to feed and recycle and use it against Palpatine. So that's how powerful Palpatine, or how fast Palpatine can really move in close quarters even. Because remember, that Chancellor's office was not exactly big.
It wasn't designed for combat, obviously.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. But they were moving throughout that thing like basically ninjas in a freaking anime.
Yeah.
So Palpatine definitely has speed. He has shrewdness. He has cunning on his side. Now, if he can get through Vitiate's defense, if he can actually get around or get past Vitiate's awareness, because Vitiate dies or can have a lightsaber strike him if he is not expecting it.
Yeah.
The Outlander, if depending on how you make your decisions in the game, he actually stabs Vitiate through the heart or through the back, backstabbing him, basically. And if you go the other way, it's Vitiate's son who stabs him in the back. Basically, when his guard is down, he cannot just repulse a lightsaber.
When he's also defeated by the hero of Tython, right? How's he defeated then?
Basically, you're talking about which one? The Guardian class or
the Sentinel class?
Yeah, basically.
Not Sentinel class, but the Jedi Knight. I forget what it's called. I think it's
the Knight.
Yeah,
they Guardian or Knight is basically the Knight class. You can either be a Guardian or a Sentinel. But anyway, yes, he beat Vitiate 1-on-1 when Vitiate was running the Sith Empire.
Right.
But you also got to remember that Vitiate was widely dispersed at the time. He was possessing Valkorion, and he was maintaining a constant possession of all of his children.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
So if he spans his power out and spreads his power out thinly enough, sure, he could lose a one-on-one battle. And that's basically how I interpret him losing to that Guardian, to the hero of Tython. Now, as Valkorion, he didn't have to. We basically, or for those who see the game or the gameplay, which is hours and hours, but you can just search all Valkorion scenes and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's not worried about the Sith Empire. He cast it aside as a failed experiment. This also goes to Valkorion's or Vitiate's pros and cons. He literally built empires just to test how well he could push them and to make a perfect empire. He did that with Zakuul. The Sith Empire that was going against the Republic, he cast it aside. He allowed himself basically to die to the hero of Tython so he could maintain his focus on Zakuul. And, well, we all know how easily Zakuul slaughtered both Republic and Empire forces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did catch that particular video because, like I said, I was doing a crap ton of research for this because I wanted to know as much as I could about this guy. And geez, and that's go ahead.
If one of you guys could pull up that cinematic of Vitiate and his sons, basically to give you guys an idea of how cold Valkorion or Vitiate can be when he's solely focused on one thing. So we'll actually pull that one up.
Are you talking about the cinematic from when they were going to launch the Eternal Empire or Knights of the Eternal Empire? Okay.
Yes, the one where or the one with the twins.
Okay, give me a minute.
Because this shows you just how cruel he can be, but how cunning he can be. This Sith Lord, Vitiate, at this time Valkorion, showed such indifference to his sons that he caused one of them, who always wanted his approval, to just snap.
Oh yeah, that scene. Yeah.
And right when he finally, or when his other brother Thexan, because Arkin is the one that snaps, Thexan pulls him away from his father when he's just about to kill him.
Yeah, that's
and
a great
he kills
cinematic.
his brother, and it's like, it is. And then he's like, "Come with me, son." That's when he embraces Arkin. But even though he embraced his son at that moment, you still know he's basically cucking his own son. Because when his son finally turns on him, he's like, "First your brother, and now your father." Really?
Okay. Hey, Orange, I've got that. Do you want me to go and screen share it from my end, or do you want?
Yes, screen share it, because I can't.
Okay.
I'm on a Kindle.
Okay, 2 seconds. Sure.
So, also, full disclosure, guys, and to YouTube, I do not own any of the material that is going to be displayed in a video format.
Well, I think this has been shared by a lot of people, so I don't think there's going to be a problem. So,
Well, and you never know YouTube, so
You'll probably
Okay.
get a claim on it just because of
Yeah.
the music, but
Maybe.
All right.
Okay.
you won't get struck down or anything probably.
No.
Yeah, I'll.
Okay. Is it coming up on you? Is it coming up?
It's come up. Yep.
Okay.
And we're gonna full screen it. So
Okay. Give me a minute. I can do it from my end. Oh, hold on. Let me.
A man can have anything if he's willing to sacrifice.
full screen it if you could.
Sure.
With your birth comes a solemn vow. You will have nothing.
Over there! Yeah!
Your privilege is the dirt. In the darkness, only ambition will guide you. The oaths you swear, the promises you make, they are yours alone. Your freedom will be the wars you wage. Your birthright, the losses you suffer. Your entitlement, the pain you endure. And when darkness finds you, you will face it alone. Come with me, son.
All right. Basically, that gives you guys an idea of just how cold and calculating Valkorion Vitiate Tenebrae can be. He basically forced his son, or showed so much indifference to his sons, that Arkin could not handle it. All he wanted was his father to acknowledge him.
Yep.
And only after his son showed enough hatred and anger, and one of the best parts of that entire cinematic was when he looks, or Arkin looks up, and you see his eyes go yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is just such an awesome movement. It's like, you know exactly what he's about to do in that moment. It's like, damn. But yeah, this guy forced his own son to try to kill him through years of indifference. Tell me that's not cold.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
It's absolutely.
all he's ever cared about is himself and his survival. He's destroyed entire planets just to sustain himself, and he planned on doing it to the entire galaxy.
Mhm.
You know, that's all he's ever cared about is just him.
And even then, like, Palpatine feels the same way, like, about, like, he only cares about himself and his survival. But even then, I don't think he would go to the lengths of be willing to destroy the entire galaxy, because for him, he's all about
He
power.
wants to rule it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you have that
Now-
level of, like, basically, like, narcissism and evil in you, that you be willing to destroy the entire galaxy and leave you, like, only you, that's, pretty powerful.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, just, and this is not me. This is okay. Obviously, this is not throwing shade at Palpatine. Valkorion had children.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine never had any children, and if you consider the fact that, I don't know if you want to consider this an accomplishment or anything, but if you consider the fact that Valkorion's own children, the 2 sons and a daughter, and his daughter, like y'all are going to be debating in a couple of weeks or anything, her against Rey. Those 3 children were exceedingly powerful in the Force, and you could even make the argument that they are a distant relation to the fact that he's a pure-blood Sith, regardless of caste within the Sith society. He was pure-blood Sith. So those children have a powerful lineage to the Force just through the sheer fact that their father was pure-blood Sith. Now, granted, yeah, they may be half that, but still, half pure-blood Sith.
They're not even half that, because Valkorion, the human, the person before Vitiate took him over, was a plain old human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Albeit strong in the Force.
Yeah.
Even
So,
Vitiate was he half Sith? I mean, his biological father was pure blood Sith, but what was
his mother was also pure blood.
Okay.
His mother was a lowborn Sith,
Okay.
and his father was highborn.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, his father, which he didn't actually I don't know if he actually killed his father. He locked him, or did he just lock his spirit away in that holocron? But anyway, his father was basically a highborn that took a slave and knocked her up, and the result was Tenebrae. But Tenebrae had such a strong affinity to the Force that and we all know that story. Palpatine. Oh, Jesus Christ, Genesis. I'm not even going to freaking highlight that.
I do not
acknowledge
that.
man.
I do not acknowledge that. I'm sorry. No.
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 God, dude. Seriously. I love his comments, and I love his trollery. But, oh, dear God. I can't even picture that shit. That's just so disturbing.
No kidding.
So, let's get into
this
crunch
battle.
time,
Yes,
folks.
let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Basically,
get
Palpatine is going to, or he's going to actually go to.
No, Genesis.
No, Genesis, we are not going to read it. He's going to Vitiate. So, Vitiate would, or he might not sense Palpatine per se, his Force signature, but he would sense a disturbance and a danger.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what you do, you can't hide your intent in the Force. You can cloak yourself, but you cannot cloak intent. So,
Ryan.
I'll read it. I don't give a shit.
I would too, but oh God, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Oh jeez. But anyway,
For all of you, that would be Sunday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Ryan will be streaming, so if you want to see that comment,
yeah.
True.
jeez.
Okay. Stay on
All right,
target.
so, yeah, he would be, or basically he would know when Palpatine arrives. The way I see it, Palpatine can, or one other thing that Palpatine is known for is his Sith lightning, and I believe he could actually disintegrate a person with, or if he puts enough power behind his Force lightning.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, he could. Vitiate definitely. He disintegrated the droid T3 and 4 was that?
I believe so.
Something
Oh
like that.
yeah, T3 M4.
Oh, he did. God,
Yeah.
he did kill T. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, because I was like the one thing I remember from that scene. I was like, oh, that actually made me sad when I was reading that scene.
I have got to get that book, Revan. That's in Revan, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm ordering that book as soon as the stream is done. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
So basically,
I was just going to say very quickly, the thing you got to realize about Sidious with his Force lightning, oftentimes he used it to kill, and it was strong, it was powerful enough, it could disintegrate a person to ash.
Mhm.
So, and it didn't take much for him to unleash Force lightning that quick. It didn't. What he was doing to Luke, just very, very quickly, what he was doing to Luke was more the slow kill. He wanted to make Luke suffer. If he wanted to kill a person quick with Force lightning, he could do it, hands down, full stop. Okay, go ahead.
and so could Valkorian or Vitiate because he did so to Darth Mar like in a second. Once Mar started killing a bunch of his guards, he's one step forward, arm up, boom, he's done.
Yeah.
Now, the way I see this happening is when they finally get into the same room together, Palpatine is going to be looking for Vitiate. They're gonna have a little bit of banter because, well, their egos could also fill that room and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're eventually going to start heading off on each other. And while Palpatine is going to go all out, he's gonna go full Sith lightning. He's gonna do all of that, and he'll even whip out his lightsaber. He's gonna realize that his lightsaber's not going to get around Vitiate's his awareness, because Vitiate can easily just stick his hand out and say, "Oh, nice try." Now, the way I see this, Palpatine will eventually lose, but he is going to get some solid shots in, because Palpatine is no slouch. He's no slouch, folks. As powerful as Valkorian is, Palpatine himself is not one to be underestimated.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not trying to diminish his power. I just think that Vitiate has the overall advantage, but Palpatine is going to get some shots in.
Here's the thing to me. So, right, Palpatine in theory is the strongest of the rule of two Sith, right? As the intent of the rule of two is each master to be more powerful than the one previously. However, 4,000 years before, this is before you had this drop off in Sith of the Darth Bane era, where they were just so diluted that he eventually felt he had to do the rule of two. This is a guy who survived 5,000 years. Imagine how many people have tried to overthrow him. Imagine how many Sith have tried to band together to overthrow him at some point. How many assassination attempts he has survived. Even death he has survived. I just think that, to me, I think Vitiate is on another level, a true legend. And I know that might upset some people, but I've always felt that if there's a one-on-one duel with them, like I said, Palpatine has never experienced anything like that ever in his life.
Indeed, and go ahead.
No, because the thing you got to realize about Palpatine, he kind of exists in a power vacuum in terms of force sensitive beings and everything in the area in which he lives. So for him to take out just about anybody is not going to be any great feat, because you don't have highly powered Jedi masters or force wielders of any great strength or anything in Palpatine's era. And Vitiate's era, you can't swing a cat without hitting a force wielder of any particular great strength or anything, and very high level strength or anything. You walk around a corner. There's a highly powered, very powerful
Force user.
Force user, Jedi or Sith, either way. So for him, he had to be at the top of his game because even though he had all that power, he had to amass that amount of power considering all the competition he did have. If you think about Palpatine, even as powerful as Palpatine is, relatively speaking, he didn't have a whole lot of competition because let's be honest, after Anakin got put in that suit, it was primarily him scheming with others and everything to try and take out Palpatine instead of him going straight up one-on-one against Palpatine on his own. Mm-hmm. So Valkorion or Vitiate or Tenebrae, whatever name you prefer to call him by, he is at the top of his game. So honestly, I'm going to have to say, yeah, he's going to take this fight. 9 times out of 10, or maybe even 10 times out of 10, he's going to whip Palpatine or anything, either through if he does decide to debase him or lower himself to the point of using a lightsaber or just being a full-on force power battle. Valkorion's going to win because he's in a very competitive and very confrontational era in the Star Wars universe. Palpatine, sadly, isn't.
Yeah, he had it easy, basically. So we all know that Palpatine is going to win. So basically, the question is, how much damage is Valkorion or Vitiate going to take before he decides to just end Palpatine?
Well, I mean, I couldn't, I guess, like necessarily give a good answer on that. I think he would take some hits because he has also that personality where he's going to toy with the person who is trying to kill him. Maybe give him a false sense of
security,
false sense that they have the advantage. So it's like he take some hits. Maybe shortly into the battle, start slowly turning it into his favor to the point where he does put the other person at a not outright disadvantage, but it's still at the same time playing. Then okay, I'm done playing like a cat and mouse. I'm done playing. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Situation. So I'm trying to remember the scene in Revan. He could have outright killed everyone in the Revan, Scourge, Mitra Surik. All three were there, and if Vitiate wanted to, he could have outright killed all three of them. He didn't, and that's as much as he's in survival of himself. He does have that. I'm going to see what you can do, out of curiosity, before I unleash my full power on you.
Well, and I'm going to introduce a nightmare scenario, even though this is just a theory. What if the two of them do face off? They do get some licks on each other, and hey, Jane Theory, long time no see. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Sorry, Orange.
You're next, or 1 second. Jane Theory, make sure that you pay attention in 2 weeks because the one that you recommended is actually going to, half of what you recommended is coming up.
So, anyway, continue. Okay, here's my nightmare scenario. The two of them, they face off, and they realize there's nothing gained by just trying to destroy each other. Why not combine forces? Now imagine a coalition headed by arguably two of the greatest Sith masters ever. Full stop.
That would be a very powerful coalition, but again, neither one would share power.
Yeah,
that's very true.
And that's true. And I Mara, I wholeheartedly agree with you. But just an interesting what if. What the hell would happen if the two of them did form a coalition? Let's just be candid. The Star Wars
They would
galaxy.
destroy the galaxy.
The Star Wars galaxy would be royally effed. royally effed.
Oh yeah, they destroy the galaxy.
And remake it in their own image if they so choose, because both of them, between the two of them, they would have the power to do it.
The way I see it, they wouldn't even reshape it. They would just move on to another one. I mean, to put it bluntly, Valkorion or Vitiate is a perfect version of what Darth Nihilus could have been. Yes. Darth Nihilus was hungry through the Force. He was the Lord of Hunger, and he couldn't control that hunger. Yeah. He sustained himself off of the death and all that stuff. Where Vitiate did the same thing, but he could control it. Yeah. So basically, he would just continue laying waste and feeding to supplement his own immortality. Also, that's something that Vitiate had that Palpatine didn't. Palpatine always craved immortality. He wanted to live forever. Now, if he hadn't been an idiot and killed Plagueis, he might have learned it. But he got too impatient. Where Vitiate, he knew how to do it, and he exploited it. So we are going to start wrapping it up here, folks. Basically, it's a very good battle. It's a very powerful. It's a clash of titans, so to speak. But in the overall conclusion, it's going to be Vitiate that takes the win in this case. Everybody pretty much agree on that?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think so. And I do think that at the end of the day that it will come down to lightsabers, that Vitiate will actually have to pull out a lightsaber and defend himself. But he's still going to be using his force powers in there. And I think Vitiate wins. Palpatine puts up a great fight. But
oh, Jesus. Your stalker is in the chat, Ryan.
Yeah, I saw that bitch here.
Oh, gosh, man. Are you sure it's not freaking... Are you sure that's not Genesis?
He
says it's not.
Yeah, he says it's not.
To do this type of stuff. I mean, if we ever send a super chat, we know who it is.
Yeah. Maybe he could send one to your stream tomorrow, Mara.
Why don't you do that, Ryan Kendall from Louisiana?
Exactly.
Yes. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
So, alrighty, folks. We are going to wrap this up. Basically, big battle. Vitiate wins in the end. But I think that it was a very good conversation. I think it was a very good throwing back and forth ideas. So with that, we're going to start wrapping it up and plugging channels. So we'll give it over to Mara.
Hello, my name, I go by Mara Jade. My YouTube channel is Jade Shadow. That's in the parentheses. I talk pop culture, primarily like DC right now, social commentary. I do talk about Star Wars on occasionally, mostly on live streams whenever I'm invited on, like Orange Hat's versus stream tonight or EU Book Club and so forth. But also tune in tomorrow. If you are interested in the EU Book Club, I'm going to jump on that stream a bit. I think it starts 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll probably jumping in like closer to 7 p.m. But if you are interested in talking about outbound flights, go check out that stream. It's on Evan's channel, which I can't remember what his channel name is, unfortunately. So yeah, we're talking about outbound flights, and then 10 p.m. Eastern again, my time, I will be doing the Nerdy and the Lethal live stream with Lethal Lightning, our weekly live stream. And that's going to be sort of a anything goes pop culture discussion / monetization celebration stream, because I'm now officially monetized on my channel.
Yay!
Nice. Yay!
Congrats, by the way. Well deserved.
Thank you.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yes.
All right, Ryan?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. You can come check me at my channel, Ryan Kennel RK Outpost, where I have no more strikes on my channel from Naughty Dog.
Yay!
They
Awesome.
can go suck my dick, and I will continue to talk crap about Naughty Dog in The Last of Us Part 2. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah, everybody. Hashtag fuck Naughty Dog, by the way.
That's
All right.
That,
Ambassador.
Ryan from Louisiana, is that directed to me? Like, do you want me to buy? Fuck
Buy
Yeah,
the fuck
you
stuff
should
for it.
buy the Fuck Naughty Dog merch, which I have. I have Fuck Naughty Dog merch on my Teesprings.
You know what, Ryan?
If you'll send a
Send
super
me
chat,
a link to your Teespring in on Twitter if you can.
Oh yeah, let me do that.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'll get a fuck Naughty Dog shirt.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
really do. I just want to. I just like before Ambassador plugged.
No,
in,
it's okay.
I was wondering if that is directed to me because he says buy fuck Naughty Dog merch and I will. When so
Yeah, this one.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna say that's a creepy picture. No offense, Ryan Kennel from
That
Louisiana.
is, yeah, seriously, that
that's his actual the guy.
A real person. You guys are
yeah, that is that's actually the guy's freaking thing. Yeah.
No, and Ryan Kennel from Louisiana. No offense or anything, but dude, pick a different picture or pick a different avatar because that's just
get a new face, bro.
all right. Let's not we don't
That-
judge him.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not his fault.
Yeah.
It's in your DMs there, Orange Chat.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right. Ambassador.
Oh,
Oh,
my
Jesus.
oh, good grief.
All right. Ambassador. Just go.
Ryan Kennel from Louisiana, you've got a very twisted sense of humor, sir. But I think sometimes it's appropriate. Anyway, everybody, I am the Ambassador. You can find me on YouTube under the Ambassador. It's as simple as that. I cover pop culture from the 80s and 90s into the modern era. I talk about just a little bit of everything. I'm currently doing a review of Babylon 5 on Monday afternoons. I do occasionally do afternoon streams. Tomorrow night on my channel, the Ambassadorial Wing, we'll be talking about the Back to the Future trilogy. That'll be at 7:30 Central Time. I want to thank Orange Hat for having me on once again, and I want to thank my fellow panelists, Mara Jade and Ryan Kennel. Guys, this has been a lot of fun working with you all the last couple of weeks on these streams. It's been a lot of fun. It's obviously a topic I love talking about. Star Wars. I am a 80s baby, so I was right smack dab in the middle of Star Wars, and this was a fun debate, to be perfectly honest with you, and I can't wait for another one. So you can also find me on Twitter at Ambassador Kosh #7, which is also in the little banner below my avatar. So to everybody in the chat, to everybody that I know and that I don't know, thank you all for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated. And yeah, peace.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we're going to end this. But before we do, in 2 weeks, this originally was going to be just a joke, but because I feel like spiting Disney after that little revelation I had earlier, I'm actually going to make it a serious fucking versus stream. We're gonna have Mary Ray Sue Palpatine versus Valen. So basically, the daughters of the emperors are going to fight each other. And here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. And I'm going to throw open my mouth as I say this, am actually going to moderate for the pros of Rey. As much as I hate that character, I will actually go to bat for her only once in a versus stream. Now,
Godspeed to you.
huh?
I said Godspeed to you because you're brave.
Yeah, thanks. Now, also, we got, what is today? The 22nd? We got 9 days left. So if you guys can get me to 500 subs, I will whip this hat off, and I will show you one of the most embarrassing things of my life of why I wear the hat. And I've heard a lot of people actually coming up with all sorts of theories. What's under the hat, basically? Well, if you get me to 500 before May 31st or on May 31st, you'll learn what's under the hat. Anyway, folks.
I don't think I want to know, but I still want to get you to 500, just like I want to get to 300 so I can do my 90s karaoke night.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, with that being said, I want to thank all the people who are in the chat, Soul Assassin, Jane Theory, Genesis, not you, Ryan from Louisiana, Culture Casino,
Dude.
all you guys. Thank you so much for showing up for this stream. I appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals. You guys are what keeps this channel going. Just your sheer support, and Ryan, Mara, Ambassador, you guys coming on, it helps more than you guys know, and I truly do appreciate it. So with that, folks, if you catch this on the replay, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts if you catch it on the replay down in the comment section below. Who would win between Palpatine and Vitiate? Let me know your reasoning behind your vote. And with that said, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. And stay home.